What's up, guys, and welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Devontae Kelly, and I am a third grade teacher in the Middle Tennessee area. And right now, we are ending summer school. It is actually a Tuesday, so we came yesterday and we just wrapped up today. So I want to give you a quick rundown of what happened this week, with it being the last week of summer school. So yesterday, we started off with doing our post assessment for Math for Love. Now, if you followed me through the vlogs so far, you know that Math for Love is one of the two math curriculums that we're using for summer school this year. So with Math for Love, we've done a pre-assessment and a post-assessment. The pre-assessment we did on the very first day, and then the post-assessment is honestly a mirror of the pre-assessment. So I'm going to show you the post-assessment super quick, but just know that the pre-assessment is very much the same. It just has some tweaked numbers and some tweaked wordings, but majority of the test from the pre and the post are the same, just to kind of see how they progress throughout summer school. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you what we've been doing with the post assessment. All right, so here's our post assessment. I obviously have the name covered up for privacy reasons, but it's 10 questions on the post assessment. There are some arrays, which you see here. How many dots? How do you know? And then can you make an equation for that? For this, I want to see at this point multiplication, just because we've been focusing so much on area and arrays and using length and width to help us. With the pre-assessment, I would have taken an addition problem, but for now, I'm really gearing or wanting to see some multiplication. Same for this. This one's an array. This one's equal groups. Number's a little off, so there'll be some points off for that. But she at least has an equation. And also the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, she's right. So points off a little bit for the answer, but the equation up until that is correct. So she'll get some partial points for that. After we get into that, we get into some kind of rote multiplication fact fluency. So we'll do fill in the blank for the multiplication and division equations. For this, we wanted to show the answer using an area model. This is for when we get to numbers that we don't know those fact family for. So like 14, 16, 18, and how we can break that apart. It's broken up a little bit different. This should be 10. This should be 4, because 10 and 4 make 14. That should be 9, but it still all makes the same equation. And then the rest of it is just word problems. And some of them are simple word problems where it's one step. Some of them, like this one, are multi-step where you need to multiply 5 times 12 and then subtract 17 like she did here. And getting to that. And again, it's just some more word problems. And again, here's one that deals with money. So all in all, that's what the post-assessment is. It's super simple, super quick. It kind of covers, like I said, just about everything we've done so far with the Math for Love curriculum. The one thing it doesn't have on here, which kind of surprises me, is fractions. But I think for the 4th grade post-assessment, they do a lot with fractions on theirs. So that was Monday math. So I gave them about 35, 40 minutes to do that assessment. A lot of them did not need that time, but I wanted to give the extra time just because that mimics like TCAP, where you have the extra time to go back and check your work. I have not looked at everybody so far, but I did see about 3 or 4, and they did improve a lot on the post-assessment from when they did on the pre. So super excited about that. Yesterday, after that, we did have a little bit, like 30-ish more minutes of our math time. So they just played some different math games, just to kind of have a little bit of a break, just because I knew after that they were going to have to come back and do another practice test. Well, not another one. They did a practice test for ELA. So for ELA, like I said before, we've been talking about wolves in fact and fiction. To practice for their ELA test, which they took today. So yesterday for the practice, we've been doing some read work articles and using some questions from that to kind of that mimic those TCAP-y type of questions. And so yesterday we did the ReadWorks article, They're Back, and it talks about how wolves were on the brink of extinction in the United States and how we brought them back from that. And so they read that on their own yesterday, and then they answered 5 questions, looks like that. And they had, again, about 45 minutes to do it because they were reading it on their own and answering the questions. They had some multiple choice as well as a short answer at the very end. And then once they took it, we went over it and talked about what was right, what was wrong, how do we know it's right, how do we know it's wrong, and using that text evidence. So that was all yesterday. Today was, today was a day. So for today, we did our SchoolNet assessment for ELA. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it was two sections. Section 1 was 45 minutes, and then section 2 was 30 minutes. And I feel like they did a really, really good job. I can see how they did on this assessment, but I can't really say anything else because I don't know how they did in May, which means I don't know if they've shown growth from when they took it in May to now. But I will say half of my kids scored over 50% on the test, which I can look at my historical data for a few of my kids because we were at the same school. And when they took this mock assessment back in August at the beginning of 3rd grade, they scored like 25, 30%. So to see them getting up to like 55%, 58%, 62%. I even had 2 kids that were in the high 70s. So I want to say they did a really good job on it, but I can't just because I don't know where they were in May and if they made that adequate growth from May to now. So, but regardless, I'm super proud of them. And they really took their time. I was watching them as I'm, monitoring the room. They're reading through the questions. They're reading the passages. I saw them using the highlighter tool. I saw them using the answer eliminator tools because on yesterday we also went over how to take the online test. So we talked about this is how you navigate the test. Here are the tools that you can use. Here's how you answer the questions. And so we spent time working on that yesterday, and I could tell today that they were really, really using those tools to their advantage. So again, like I said, super proud of them for that. When we so we took that test, it took up our entire morning. So we usually go outside around 9:30, but that test took us to about 9:45, 9:50. So we stayed outside a little bit longer today just so that way we could get our recess time in. We came back, we had about 30-ish minutes to do math. So we just played some math games, nothing too strenuous, nothing too hard hitting, because they've already been playing these games all summer school long. They know it, they're used to it, they're partner games, they have manipulatives with them. So we played that for about 30 minutes, had lunch. After lunch, we played a couple of Book It games. If you don't know what Book It is an online website where you can kind of do battles. And there are different versions and different games you can play, but you can battle as individuals against the whole class. You can do teams and stuff like that. So we just did some math Book It games that focused on multiplication, that focused on area, that focused on fractions. And so just to, again, get them in that practice of seeing that stuff and answering questions on that. And then at the end, we did Zern. And while they were on Zern, I was pulling kids individually one-on-one to do our end of the summer school fluency, which I want to show you that too because they did such a good job at it. I'm actually going to put a screenshot on there because I don't want to show the kids' names on there, but I do want to talk about their scores. So I have the screenshot up on the screen, and just to kind of talk about what it has on there. So the only thing that you guys are going to see are going to be what their beginning word count per minute is and their beginning retail score, and then their ending word count per minute and their ending retail score. So, and you can also see the data color keys. So you see the colors on there. Dark red means they're in the 10th percentile or below. Light red, they're up to the 25th. Yellow, they're up to the 49th. Light green, they're between the 50th and the 75th. dark green 75th to 90th, and then blue 90th and up. And the big thing that I just want to show is just seeing how majority of the kids have moved up. If you were dark red at the beginning, you've moved up to light red. If you were light red at the beginning, you've moved up to yellow. If you were yellow, you've moved up that yellow, or you've moved to light green. And so I just wanted to show that, just because it really shows with the kids, like, they've put in the work, and it was hard work. I mean, I wasn't reading stuff to y'all all summer school long. Y'all are reading these hard, complex texts. We're gonna work through it and figure out how to read these words and talk about, how we could break them apart to get through those words. But they were doing a lot of the heavy lifting during summer school. And so I did show them what their scores were at the beginning and then where they're at now, just to kind of show, like, hey, these past 3 weeks, you've really been putting in hard work, and here's how we know that, because here's where you were on day 1, and here's where you are now on day, what is this, day 14? So just kind of show that progression. And a lot of them are really proud of themselves. I mean, I had kids that were reading 18 more words per minute. I have 2 kids that read more than 30 words over these past 3 weeks. And so again, like I said, I just really want to show their hard work that they put in during this time, because I mean, it is hard. I mean, it's summer. You're sitting here in school while your friends are enjoying the summer and seeing them enjoying the summer. And so I just want to kind of give them, a little bit of a positive look on how they've been doing so far in summer school. So that's that. I am done with their fluency assessments. I'm done with all their ELA stuff. I am done with the math post-assessment. The literal only thing that's left is our math school net test, which will happen tomorrow morning. So it'll be the same kind of procedure. The only difference is for ELA, it was timed in 2 sections. For math, it's 1 section and it's not timed. So they'll just take however much time they need to get through the math test. And then once they're done with that, we'll just finish out our regular day. So we'll go outside, we'll come back in, we'll read 1 more section of Face to Face with Wolves, and then that's kind of it. I don't have anything else planned because, as you can see, I'm packing my stuff up because it has to be gone tomorrow. Like, it has to be submitted to our central office by 4 p.m. tomorrow, and they're not playing about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish up packing up a couple of things here, and I'll check in with you guys. Hopefully I'll get here a little bit earlier tomorrow morning, but I'll check in with you guys then, just to give, that ending piece to summer school. All right, what's up, guys? It is Wednesday, June, I think it's the 25th, but don't quote me on that. It is the second to last day of summer school, and as you can see, I'm not in my summer school classroom right now. I'm in my actual classroom where I'll be teaching the upcoming school year. So the reason I'm here is because I just dropped off all of my summer school things back to my classroom. They came from this classroom to help me during summer school, and now that it's over, these things have come back. These are my personal things, the things that came from central office as far as curriculum, books, manipulatives, all that stuff that got sent off to central office today. A couple of our teammates left a little bit early. They split up classes so that way they could move everybody's things to central office at one time. So all that stuff is gone. Like I said, all my stuff is here. Just to kind of give you a look at what I have. So these actually, I didn't bring them. These were what was left from the kits that we use for summer school. So in summer school, they buy kits where it has all the stuff they need: folders, pencils, a pencil box, glue, scissors, composition books, all that stuff that the kids need. They have them in the little kits. A tissue box was in each kit for a kid, but we obviously did not use that many, so I just took the rest. The kids aren't gonna use them anyway. So I have those. Some things in here are my morning bins or recess bins. These are what the kids used in the mornings if they didn't have a breakfast or if it was too hot. Like this week has been a scorcher. But if it was too hot and we couldn't go outside, they could use these tubs as a thing to do, or they could have some online games, or I put on a show and they could watch that. I have a ton of these bins. These bins were used to house like our different math games. One of them was our turn-in bin where they turned in all their work. Down below, I have some binders in there that had some like page protectors that I used with the games. I have some Mr. Sketch markers. As you can see, I brought kind of like some resources that I need, like some staplers. I have some tape down there. If you could, I don't know if you could see this or not, but right in here, it has like my little caddy that has like scissors, pens, sticky notes, paper clips, just all this kind of things that, I mean, as a teacher, you're just going to need. You don't really think you're going to need it until you need it. And the reason I really brought those things was because I'm going in a room that's not mine. I get it, as a teacher, your room is your space and you kind of don't want other people in your space. And so I try to bring my things so I don't use the teacher's room or use her things that's in her room, because I know how that kind of is with other people been in there. So it's all here. I'm not even finna unpack it. I'm just gonna let that stuff sit in here until I come back in July. But I did notice when I came in that they are done cleaning my room. So they had pulled everything out that was on the floor. Here's the floor. It looks so shiny. And let me turn you around to show you what the rest of the room looks like. So here I'm at my back door. Again, everything was taken out. They waxed the floor. It looks so good. I'm gonna try my hardest not to scratch it up this year. Last year when I did my setup, I was moving some stuff and it left a big mark from the back of the room all the way to the front in multiple areas. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? But anyway, like I said, here's from the front. And pan it around. And then that's all my stuff up there too. But this is what it looks like, nice and clean. Again, I'm not moving anything. I'm not doing anything until probably like July 20th, to be honest, just so that way I could get like 2 or 3 weeks of downtime before I get back in the swing of things. But when I come back, y'all know I'm gonna put it on for you. I'm gonna talk to you about what I'm gonna be doing, how I'm planning on setting up. Here's kind of my back area. Again, they even got back here, and then that's my closet. It's full of stuff, so I won't show you that. But yeah. So we have one more day of summer school. Some of my kids will be there, some of them won't. Like I said, I think I said this before, I have to be there for 15 out of the 16 days. And so if they haven't missed a day yet, they do not have to come on that last day. Some of them have been there every day. Some of them have not been there every day. But we'll just make it work. We're gonna have a PJ and movie day. So they can wear their PJs, they can bring a blanket, they can bring a pillow, and we'll have like popcorn and Capri Suns, and we'll just watch movies and have fun until it's time to go home. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. I don't know if I'll probably do a really quick check-in tomorrow, but I mean, we're not going to be doing too much, so it won't be very fulfilling. But for right now, I'm going to go home because I'm tired. It's hot as you know what outside. You know, if you live in Tennessee, you already know it's hot and humid. It's a week of rain, then a week of intense heat, then a week of rain, then a week of intense heat. And right now, we're in the week of intense heat. So I'm going home, sit in the AC. This is pretty much the end of the summer school vlog. I know it was only 3 videos. It was super short, but I'm glad that you guys stuck with me to the end. It was really exciting to talk to you guys about what we've been doing in summer school. A lot of you guys had some questions about how we do summer school, what we do during summer school. So I was happy to share that out with you guys.